Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, the Introverted Reader, and today's video, what is my hair doing? Oh my goodness. Today's first video is my March wrap up. I realize that March isn't technically over yet, but I am back to work this week, so I want to be able to just get this up and out of the way. So, for March, I participated in the Femathon and I had a lot of fun. I had a good time. And yeah, this is just me wrapping up everything. I was able to read 6 books, which is wonderful. But these 3 I wasn't able to get to, unfortunately. Cursed was for read a classic or like a read a retelling. Traitor to the Throne was a wild card read, and A Vow So Bold and Deadly was for disability rep. I'm just going to carry these over into April, and I'll explain a little bit more about what I'm doing for April in my April TBR, which if you're watching in the future is linked down below. So yeah, that will be linked down below if you want to watch that and what I'm going to be doing for April. So, okay, back to the books that I did actually read. The first book that I actually read in March was on my Kindle, and it was Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. This is book 2 in the Red Queen series. I know this is a series that's quite old, but I had never continued on with the series. I'd only ever read book 1. So I reread book 1 and then carried on with book 2, and I really, really liked this sequel. It was really, really good. A lot of graphic violence in this one, so just be wary of that because there is a war going on. There's a lot of violence and a lot of like fighting and stuff, so be wary of that. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed the sequel, and I will be carrying on with the 3rd book, which is called King's Cage. So I've got that ready to go on my Kindle for when I'm done. And I think I gave a Glass Sword 4 stars. Now, let's get the bullet journal out. The first book that well, actually, I'll talk about this first. I'm still currently reading Lightbringer by Claire Legrand. I am over 300 pages in. Let me see. I am 331 pages into this. I've made a dent. It's a big boy. But obviously I'm not going to get this done before the end of the month. So again, it's being carried over into April, but thus far, it's okay. Not much is happening, I'll say, but we're in the home stretch now. I have maybe like 200-ish pages left. But anyway, let's talk about the books that I actually completed. Well, another book that I actually completed, and that was the first one is The Gilded Ones by Nomina Forna. This I gave 4 stars. That I actually made this my Introverted Reader book club pick of the month for March, and it was great. It was wonderful. I have a review for it. I will link that down below as well if you want to go and watch it. So yeah, basically girl bleeds gold, girl is labeled a demon, and then girl has to go off and fight in a war. That's the basis of it. But yeah, if you want to know a little bit more, my review is down below. And I read this for the prompt for, what was it? Let me see. Gilded Ones. Oh yeah, a femme positive book, because there's a lot of femme positivity in here as the book goes on. So yeah, I love this one. 4 stars. Just put that there. The next one that I read and completed was What's the Tea by Juno Dawson, and this is for the non-fiction prompt. I had another one, if you remember, lined up for this prompt, but then this one finally arrived, and I was just like, I need to read this now because Juno Dawson's a queen. I love her. So I need to read her new book. So this is basically your no-nonsense guide to all things trans and or non-binary. So she basically just lays it all out, all the terms, all the words, just everything that it means to either be on the trans spectrum or non-binary or wherever you fit within there, and whether you are on the spectrum yourself or you're like me and you just want to know a little bit more and be a better ally, I highly recommend that you pick this up because there was a lot of really useful information in here, let me tell you. Juno really knows her stuff. Okay, so I gave this 4 stars. Again, I'm just looking at my bullet journal. The next book that I read and completed was Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is for the prompt for the BIPOC rep. Now, I could have used Gilded Ones for this, but I wanted to use this one. So yeah, this is kind of like a little prequel, I guess, to The Hate U Give, but you don't need to read The Hate You Give to read this. You don't have to. You could if you wanted, but you don't necessarily have to. It's not mandatory. But anyway, this is basically the story about Star Carter's father, Maverick, when he was 17. And basically, he has fallen a lot of hard times because his dad, who was a King Lord, is serving time in prison. His mom is working 2 jobs to keep the roof over their heads. And he is being drawn into the life that his father led, you know, with like the gangs and everything. And then he finds out that he is a father. So now he has this 3-month-old baby to look after. And his world is just like flipped upside down, and he's given a chance to like get his life sort of together, to like go straight, to like get out of the gangs and to like, you know, get like a real job, a real like normal job, and, you know, provide for his son and everything. And like at 17 years old, he has to make some like real life altering choices. And like I was rooting for him the whole way through. I was just like, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this, you know you do. And like I love Angie Thomas's writing. I love anything that she puts out. Hell, I would read the woman's shopping list at this point, honestly. I love Angie Thomas. So yes, this got 5 out of 5 stars. Love this. Okay. The next one I would like to talk about is The Girl King by Mimi Yu. Now, I ended up DNFing this for several reasons, mostly because I got really bored and I just didn't care anymore. I was listening to the audiobook for it, and I was in the home stretch. Now, there's like 30-something chapters in here. It's like 37 chapters or something, right? I was like at chapter 28, 29, and I was in the home stretch, and I found myself only really carrying on to just finish it, you know, finishing it to finish it, you know what I mean? And I didn't want that. It's just, I picked this for the platonic relationship prompt because it involves 2 sisters, but I didn't get the sisterly relationship between the 2 characters that I wanted. The 2 of them were just like not like... The older sister was really rude and arrogant and thought that the sun and rose with her, and the younger sister was such an idiot. I wanted to bonk her about the head. And I had issues. Like I looked at this cover and I had assumed it was going to be really dark and really gritty and really like intense, and it did not deliver what I wanted. It did not deliver what I wanted, so sadly it was DNF'd. And what I did read, I gave maybe like a 3-star. I'm being nice, giving it 3 stars if I'm being honest. And then another one that I read and completed that I loved with my whole heart, I actually swapped out Traitor to the Throne for this one because this book arrived. I didn't think it was going to arrive, but it did. And that was Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is my gorgeous collector's first edition. When this arrived, I immediately just had to read it right away. Like the foil is like coming off it. See, like that's probably just from me gripping it with all the angst that was going on in here. This is book 2 in the Last Hours trilogy, which is another little trilogy within the Shadowhunter world. You don't need to read every single Shadowhunter book in order to read this one. Like the only books that you would really need to read are the Infernal Devices, because this is the sequel series to that. So just read up on the Infernal Devices, brush up on your knowledge on that, and then you can dive into this. But this was so good. This was so good. The angst. Oh my goodness. Like I was watching Mel over at Mel Reed's reading vlog for this book, and she said, you know, this Cassandra Clare just hates happiness, and I'm like, that is so true. She just does. She just doesn't want her characters to be happy. And listen, I love this. I love it so much, and I can't wait for Chain of Thorns. Like, I needed Chain of Thorns as soon as I was done with this. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored this. Okay, and the last book that I'll talk about, which was for the Femmes Fight Back prompt, and that was Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston. This is a Star Wars story. This is a canon Star Wars story because it takes place 4 years after the events of Phantom Menace, and it's basically about Padme, who was the former queen of Naboo. She's not anymore. She served her term as queen, and she's sort of trying to get herself together and to try and work out what she's going to be doing, you know, for the rest of her, you know, sort of political career, I guess. And the next queen of Naboo that's brought in is basically asks her to be their representative in the Galactic Senate, and she's a little bit apprehensive about doing this because she has like some other ideas of what she wants to do, but then she ends up going to Coruscant and, you know, being in the Galactic Senate and everything, and I love this. I really, really love this. Like, I was really surprised. I didn't think I was going to like this, but I did. And like the relationship that she had with her handmaidens, because the handmaidens, like, they weren't just servants. Do you know what I mean? They weren't just there to look after her and make sure she was dressed and ready and whatever. I mean, yes, they do that, but they were also her security. They were also her confidants. They were her friends. They were her decoys. Like, they were there for her anytime that she needed them, and like vice versa. Like, even if they did, like, some of them didn't go to the Senate with her, and like she was just like, I'll miss you, but like I totally understand, you need to go and do what you need to do, like I love you. Like, the sisterly bond, like this was the sisterly bond that I wanted from Girl King. But yeah, like I really, really like this, and if you have no idea what Star Wars is about, then all of what I said probably just sounded like gibberish, but all you need to know is that I really, really like this. There is another book about Padme, but it's called Queen's Shadow, and I think it's like set way back to when she was brought in as Queen of Naboo. So that one's brought in when she's queen, and this one is set after her term of queen is over. So yeah, just I love this. I love this. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a good time. There's a whole bunch of little Easter eggs thrown in there, you know, like little subtle hints from like the movies and stuff. And again, if you don't watch Star Wars, if you've no idea what I'm talking about, then I'm sorry, but anyway, all you need to know is that I love this. This was really, really good. I had a good time. So, oh, for flip's sake, dropping books everywhere, story of my life. Anyway, those are all the books that I read and completed. Sadly, 1 I DNF'd. Sadly, 3 I wasn't able to get to. Didn't read all that I wanted to, or that I had planned to, but it's totally fine. I still had so much fun. Thank you so much to all of the hosts of the Femathon, like Faye and Kaz and all you amazing, wonderful people. Thank you for putting this together. Just like, thanks a whole bunch. I had a bunch of time, and thank you for dragging me into doing it as well. But yeah, that's it for this wrap up. My April TBR, if you're watching this in the future, it's linked down below. Go and watch it, see what I'm going to be doing in April. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, which I'm going to film right now. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, down below, subscribe, bye.